In the mid-1990s, when Microsoft was still Microsoft, I traveled around doing a talk about technology that is, well, it's my way of doing things, was more about business than it was about the technology people thought we were going to discuss. Microsoft was the focus of that presentation, and my big message was that attendees should consider putting big chunks of their money into Microsoft stock. I wasn't acting as an investment advisor, and I made that clear. I was acting as a content marketing guru, but of course, we didn't call it that back in the day. Mostly I was talking business change, business process, and common sense. Well, fast forward through the nearly 20 years that have passed since then. We're all in the content marketing business, and it's turning out that content marketing, while very much related to content production, and while content professionals are being held responsible for the marketing aspect of their content's success, has become a buzz phrase, and buzz phrases, like content, are rarely understood well enough to be useful. Content marketing requires clear messages, and it was therefore with some amusement that I recently came across a piece at Forbes.com proclaiming Microsoft's demise. I was amused that the author was so ignorant of the realities surrounding Microsoft's shifting business model. I was amused that so many of his commenters told him so. I'm even amused that Forbes refused to post my comment on the matter, completely missing the point that what little boost they'd give me would be more than made up for by the higher engagement and boost to their content marketing that my comment being there would provide Forbes. And this, by the way, despite my position that guest blogging really serves the receiver of the blog far more than the content creator. Well, the comment that Forbes deprived their readers of was this. While Microsoft is no longer relevant in the way they were in, 1997, you're missing the point. Yes, it's sad that the NFL's broadcast staff are both ignorant about technology and weren't properly briefed so as to make Microsoft's investment worth the no doubt large fee they paid. Yes, Apple sold 10 million iPhone 6s in a weekend, and if you like, go ahead and ignore both Bendgate and iOS 8.01 Gate, as well as Apple's PR blunders addressing them. Yes, the early buzz on the Apple iWatch and Apple Pay, not iWatch or iPay, was great, and although it's looking like Apple Watch is going to have manufacturing and distribution problems, and iPay, which was Apple's chance at reestablishing real consumer relevancy a la iPod, aren't really going to work, well, gosh, go ahead and ignore the U2 and iTunes debacle. You're missing the point. If one is so myopic as to believe that the hearts and minds of consumers and market share on devices is what matters, then yeah, Microsoft is toast, but so is Apple. Have you heard of this little OS called Android that's eaten a better than 60% market share in mobile devices? Sure, Microsoft would like to go back to the position they occupied in 1997, and they're large enough that they really have very little to lose in devoting part of their marketing efforts to trying. But the truth is that Microsoft became a server software and consulting company a long time ago, and Apple's getting nowhere in that space. And that space, read cloud services, is far more significant than operating system share. Well, my pedantic delivery notwithstanding, here's the quick translation. Business changes, and you need to change with it. Content marketing requires clear messages, and too many content creators are putting out drivel that has no real chance of gaining any market footing. And while Mr. Hartung's Wikipedia page suggests a certain amount of business expertise, his writing just doesn't belong in Forbes unless Forbes has devolved into a bad blogging outfit. Which probably makes you think I'm picking on Forbes or on Adam Hartung. Yeah, well, sure, a little, but mostly peripherally. The other day I came across the infographic you see here. And as is generally the case, Danny Sullivan has hit a content marketing question issue on the head. Infographics are not useful unless they say something. And even if they do say something, the graphic part of an infographic has to make sense, or you're just ranting. So see these 132 passengers who might have come in contact with the Ebola patient? They might as well be these 133 tweets. Except, of course, that they were produced in 2014 by a content marketing professional, not 2 years earlier by a kid. So please get ready for the biggest change in your and your business's life. And if you want to talk about what makes great content marketing, Keep reading or contact me here. I'm the Answer Guy, and I'll be back.